Using FlipaClip, I tried to get as close to rigging as possible. I wanted to create a puppet and also try to animate it while I just use the same puppet over and over again. So to do this, I did a sketch of it, is what you're seeing here, creating the character from scratch. I did this, a little bit unproportional character of a cartoon, kind of like a kawaii girl. So I'm using the layer function here, and I'm going on top of the sketch layer, and I'm creating another layer on top of it, on which I'm doing both the inking and the coloring work. So I use a color that is a little bit off of what I'm using to paint in with a paint bucket, and also going back between the paint bucket and the brush to create all these colors. But what I was going for here was to create a puppet and be able to kind of rig it so I can reuse it over and over again when it comes to animation. And you can see I'm leveraging a lot of layers. The thing with FlipaClip is that you can't use layers forever. It can only take way too many layers. So you can paint your character, but you can have not many layers. It's limited. I think it's about 10 layers, 10 or 12 layers, and then you'll be maxed out. You can't add any more layers. But for this puppet work, or for this project, what we're gonna do is we don't need a lot of layers anyways. So what I did is I created one layer for the head, and the eyes too were on a different layer. So the eyes, I matched that layer with the headphones you could see here. And I created the body. You could see I'm starting to ink in the body, so I put that on a totally different layer. So I want it to be independent of all other parts of the character that are going to be moving. So what you want is you want to have most of the parts that are going to be moving on different layers, right? Parts that are going to be moving independently should be on independent layers. For example, the right hand should be on its own layer, the left hand should be on its own layer, and so goes the feet. The left leg should be on its own layer, and the right leg should be on its own layer. Now, if there was no limitation for layers, what I would do is I would put even the feet and the like the hands, the fingers on different layers, because you want to try to kind of change those as well while you're manipulating the walk cycle. So what I did here is I did the right hand and I did the right leg, and I duplicated these and I changed the color a little bit, put the color off a little bit for the leg that is farthest away from us, which is the left leg. And you can see I'm renaming this a left hand, and I went ahead and drew the fist facing us because that's what makes the biggest difference between the left and the right hand. And I made the color off a little bit, and so that's going to be our puppet's left hand. And for the left leg, I still duplicated the right leg, and I changed the color a little bit, and I changed the features on the shoe a little bit so we could differentiate it from the right leg. And now what we do now is we have our puppet finished. You can see it here. And what's gonna go ahead and happen is I'm going to go ahead and draw a ground plane here, on which is going to be like the mark on which our feet are gonna go. You can see in the background I have a mesh, like the what do you call it, the guides. You can see I have a mesh in there for FlipaClip. It's very, very important. It helps you to know exactly where you want your character to be. So the idea here is, after I create a puppet, I'm gonna go ahead and copy it and paste it on all the 12 frames that I need, and I'll use onion skinning, and then there's going to be a lot of slicing and cutting and pasting to position it in the poses that I want it to be in order for me to be able to do the walk cycle. So we have the ground plane, and I'm gonna go ahead and copy this frame and paste it. What I'll do is I'll maintain this frame with a puppet on it, which is frame number 1, and then I'll delete it at the end of it all. But I'll maintain it because it has the original puppet that I want. In case I'm stuck at any time, I'll just go back and copy this puppet, and I'll be able to paste it anywhere else, and I'll be able to manipulate it, cut and slice the way I want. So let's go ahead and create our first step here. This is going to be the contact pose. I don't know which leg to start with. I think I'm going to start with the right contact. Remember, contact the foot is straight ahead from the floor, and the other one is almost leaving the floor in the back or the front, whatever you want to do. But we're gonna go ahead and create our first pose here, and then we're gonna do the same exact thing over and over again until now. Here's when it comes in handy. You can see here it's very good that I did all these legs, especially the limbs, the legs and the feet, and the hands are all on different layers, so I can just use the lasso tool and manipulate it in the way I want. And this is what I'm gonna do for the whole other 12 poses. So you could grab it and you can manipulate it, and then there's going to be a lot of slicing and editing in order for me to be able to pose it in the pose that I want. You can see here, if I do that, I could just break it off here, and I'm going to pull it down a little bit so it can touch the ground. You can also edit the anchor tool in order for you to be able to get it to bend from where you want. So you see here, it's easier now that I can just fill in these, and the best part about it is I could just use the color picker to pick exactly what color that I want in order for me to fill it up. I think it's way easier for you to do the walk cycle this way than to redraw the whole pose or redraw the whole character, especially if the character is a little bit complicated. This is an easy character, it's just smack bang on the side, so it's easier to redraw if you wanted to redraw it frame by frame. But I think even now, this is an easy way of actually working with this walk cycle if you planned it out right. So you can see we're working on the contact pose. Now it's going to be the contact right, because the right leg is the one that is going to be right in contact. And now with the lasso tool, I could go still ahead and select the left leg, and I could use the same lasso tool to slice it in bits and pieces that I want in order for me to be able to create the parts of the poses. You could see you could slice all the way to even the foot. You could break it into pieces that you want, and this one is a little too low, so because I want this one to be flat on the ground like this in order for me to be able to calculate this pose. So you see it's a lot easier if you have a lot of moving parts, or if you could move your parts around just the way you want in order for you to create the pose. And I think after doing this for a little bit, you will be able to do walk cycles a lot faster. So you can see here it's the same thing that I'm gonna do. After I figure out exactly what position I want this foot to be in, I'll just grab my color picker and my brush, and I'll be able to fill it in. So now remember, at about 12 frames per second, you need about 12 images like this with all the poses for the walk cycle in order for you to get the walk cycle. And trust me, it's way easier for you to construct the walk cycle this way than redrawing the whole character on all the 12 frames on each frame. It's easier to have the character already drawn in a puppet. You can see that's already done now. That's a pose almost already done. So I'm gonna go ahead and manipulate the hands too. Remember, they're on different layers. That's why when I move it, you can see it's either going underneath or above other features of the character. So it's a lot easier. You can see I just break this one here a little bit and show where it's gonna be folding in the elbow. And then I use my color picker to pick the color that is closest to where I want, and I'll just go ahead and color it in. Now, to avoid it being that flat at the end of it all, you can actually even go in there and put your highlights and shades after you redraw the whole thing. But this is it, guys. This is how you do it, and this is, I think, the closest thing to rigging in FlipaClip. It is literally the closest thing to rigging a puppet in FlipaClip. And you can see now our pose is all done. Now we have two poses. Oh, we have one pose. This is the first pose. This is a contact pose. So now I'll just go ahead and do the same over and over again until I finish all my 12 poses. Thank you for watching, guys, and I hope you can practice this too.